Another EU guy who's coming over to the NALCS. Febiven, he's not getting quite as much hate, or not even close to as much hate. And by the way, this is also a guy who said, I'd never go to NA, that's a trash region, EU for life. He's coming to NA. And you know why? Because he had a great career opportunity, and his roster looks a lot better than Optics.
A lot better than Optics. I mean, just up and down, you got to say, man, this Clutch Gaming roster is very solid, and the Houston Rockets have done a great job to assemble what at one point was nothing. No whispers, no rumors, just blank slates. Even the Houston Rockets were like, are they even in the LCS still? Because you haven't heard anything. But then this comes out, and you have Solo in the top lane. That's the weak link, obviously. But then you have the Envy core of LirA, Apollo, Hakuo, and then Febiven, who obviously some people think is the best mid laner from Europe. I know me and you have pretty close thoughts on that. We both think he's better quality than Power of Evil, and then when it comes to perks, it's very close. But yeah, this roster is potentially a top 4 team, and I know it was Sebastian Park who came out and said this team has the potential to be number 1, also the potential to be number 6, and obviously 1 is a low % chance, but he definitely thinks that they're a playoff team, and I agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, you look across, if you're either comparing it to Envy of last year, which obviously Febiven is a huge upgrade, and Solo is probably, at worst, a horizontal move from Seraph. I can't imagine him being that much worse. And even if you're comparing that to H2K, Febiven's old team, that bottom lane of Apollo and Hakuo, definitely an upgrade over Nuclear and Che. Jankos and LirA, pretty comparable. And then Solo, he's definitely going to be a downgrade from Otawamne. But I think across the board, that bottom lane is a bigger disparity than Otawamne and Solo. So yeah, I think that's definitely a playoff team. I can't see them going lower than 6. And I think they could even maybe go as high as 3rd.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you look at what they bring in the early game, obviously it's hard to say how well is the team going to work together, what's the chemistry going to be like. At least for Clutch, you have 3/5 Team Envy, which is obviously a good starting point when it comes to synergy and getting on the same page. But when you look at the early game numbers, Apollo highest CS differential at 15 minutes, second highest gold and XP differential at 15. Febiven, pretty similar, first in gold and CSD at 15. LirA first in gold and XP differential at 15. So this team, up and down, very solid early game players. And if they get an early edge, I think they'll be able to snowball a lot of these leads. And just individually, they're winning lanes. And that gives LirA so much ability to just go into the enemy jungle and be confident, be a big force, and just push the other guy around. The only question mark is, will Solo hold his own in the top lane? Probably that's all he has to do, because you have Febi and this pretty underrated bot lane, who is honestly a top 3 bot lane last year in NA. That might take a step back just because of the overall talent, but they're still very solid. So I look at this team, and I agree with you, top 6 with the potential to be a top 3.
Yeah, and really, if they thrive like the early game like that, just having kind of a game-winning or a potential, you know what you're doing in a game, something they can focus on, the strength that they can go on is in that laning phase. And yeah, again, Solo, I really have no idea what to expect with him. If he's not totally feeding in these games, then yeah, I think Clutch is going to be pretty well. Obviously, you're playing around Febiven if you're LirA, because he was fantastic on H2K. Jankos gave him a lot of attention because when he gets ahead, he can win you some games. And even when he's not having attention, he's a guy who's going to be even at in lane. He's going to be getting you his CS, and he'll be there in team fights, putting out some serious amounts of damage. And I think C9 definitely has more question marks than I was expecting coming into this. And I don't know exactly how well this Team Liquid's going to do. Obviously, it has the potential to be one of the top teams in the league, but I think Clutch might oust one of them in that 3rd spot. They have the potential to. Again, this is all just on paper right now.
There's not much to go on. Again, every roster is so different. How's the team going to come together? No idea. But it's just funny when you look at this Clutch Gaming roster, specifically Febiven, and then you see that he's not getting any attention compared to what Power of Evil's getting, and he's just kind of sitting back being like, I did the exact same thing, but no one hates me. So kudos to you, Febiven, because you're in a better team.
Yep.
People still like you, and you're making a lot of money. So congratulations. You've done a great job.
And you get fast food from North America.
There you go.
The greasiest and grossest. I will say that Clutch Gaming, I think, has done the best job of the new teams and looks like the best organization of these 4 new teams coming in to be a part of. I mean, you just look at that, the Scouting Grounds event. Daryl Morey, who's the general manager of the Rockets, actually came to that event, which is something you did not see from any of the other NBA teams for sure. So the fact that he came and was there to support it, he's a guy he's been involved in MLG. He's been a part of that board, kind of looking at that, and he said himself, the future, the 3 big sports are going to be soccer, basketball, and eSports, which is what he believes. And he said his team has kind of been looking into analytics, which is his main thing he does with the Rockets. They've been looking at that stuff for almost a year now at League of Legends and developing that with his team. So even though they were super quiet early on here, they have clearly been working behind the scenes, got a solid roster together, and looks like they're really investing in their players. So yeah, I think Febiven's going to be very happy on that squad, as well as all the other players.
And it makes sense that the Rockets kind of have that analytical background, especially when you look at the team and you look at what guys like Apollo and Hako will bring to the table. They don't necessarily flash, but when you look at the stats, you're like, wait a second.
They're actually good.
Yeah, and I got to back them up. So I like the moves, and I'm with you. I think the Rockets, Clutch Gaming, is off to a great start and a team to keep an eye on.
And the good news is we're getting used to saying Clutch Gaming now, not Clutch City Gaming.
Yeah, well, I think we got there.
I don't think we did it once there.
No.
So that's pretty impressive.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Pat on the back.
Pat on the back.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more esports content.